Step 8. Work. Quote, "A little knowledge that acts is worth infinitely more than knowledge that is idle." Unquote. Khalil Gibran. Up to this point, you've identified your goals, documented them, conducted thorough studies, researched the best approaches, and initiated the preparations for your goals. Now it's time to set your goals into motion and turn them into reality. What does work mean in this context? Work can take on various forms. It can involve electrical, thermodynamic, mechanical aspects, and, particularly for goal setting, physical, mental, and emotional exertion. Each of these types of work demands a specific input measurement to produce a distinct output. Quote, "Just do what must be done. This may not be happiness, but it is greatness." Unquote. George Bernard Shaw. Physical sciences work. Sir Isaac Newton formulated a set of principles that he explored, now recognized as Newton's laws of motion and the law of gravity. Here are the 3 laws paraphrased. Laws of motion. 1. Newton's first law of motion states that an object in motion will remain in motion, and an object at rest will stay at rest unless acted upon by another opposing force. In more detail, this means that an object will persist in its state of motion unless a different force acts on it in a specific direction. Similarly, if an object is in motion, it will continue moving in the same direction at the same velocity in a straight line until another force acts on it. 2. Newton's second law of motion asserts that force is equal to the mass of the object multiplied by its acceleration. Here, force refers to a push, pull, or hold, while mass indicates the amount of matter the object contains. Acceleration is the rate of velocity change over time and distance. In essence, forces are necessary to accelerate objects with mass, and this law quantifies the magnitude of that force for a particular object. 3. Newton's third law of motion states that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. When forces are exerted between 2 or more objects of similar size, their motions are influenced accordingly. For instance, when a billiard ball collides with another, both balls change their velocities, and these changes occur in opposite directions. This is a result of the forces acting on them pointing in opposite ways. While it may be challenging to observe the force on an object as massive as the Earth, interactions with smaller objects demonstrate the equal and opposite reactions in their motions. Law of gravity. Gravity is a force that acts between any 2 objects with mass. This force increases with an increase in mass and decreases with an increase in the distance between the 2 objects. Gravity is always attractive, consistently working to pull objects closer together. This phenomenon explains why objects fall to the ground. Newton's laws are instrumental in determining the amount of work accomplished. So, how do Newton's laws apply to step 7 of work? Humans, being bodies of physical mass, are impacted by these laws, influencing both our lives and our minds. We often gauge ourselves based on our work performances. These laws present a significant opportunity to understand human capabilities and define limitations. Interestingly, these principles seem most noticeable during the early morning or late at night. In the morning, when at rest, there's a tendency to want to stay at rest, and at night, when active, there's a desire to remain active. It requires a considerable amount of energy in the opposite direction to wake up or go to bed at the times you are supposed to. Put your motives to work. Step 8 is the juncture where you determine whether you are a person of lofty aspirations or someone genuinely destined for achievement. While it is vindicating to prove you're right, never entertain the antic that you must achieve a goal in order to prove someone else wrong. Attempting to prove someone wrong is not a wise approach. Instead, pursue your goals because you need to affirm to yourself that you can and will. The world is filled with ridicule and rejection. Opposition is an inherent part of everyone's journey. You are more than capable of striving for your dreams, irrespective of the negative voices or criticisms. It's inevitable that there will be naysayers and pessimists. Motivation derived from negative sources of contention is futile and won't enhance your self-esteem. When you embark on a journey to prove someone wrong, you are adopting someone else's perception of your goals and potentials. Even if successful, The accomplishment is contaminated and tainted with bitter undertones, therefore failing to improve your self-esteem as the goal originally intended. Putting your goals into action is immensely gratifying. Witnessing something you've planned and envisioned take shape is incredibly satisfying. This phase is also where you'll encounter and rectify numerous mistakes. On the positive side, it's where you'll encounter the most challenges, solve those mistakes, and gain invaluable learning experiences. Experience is the greatest asset you can acquire in life, and engaging in the work will help you understand the cause and effects of many things and unravel the reasons behind the way things are. Start on a mental note. Begin by keeping your mind open and clear. Take a moment to relax, breathe, and focus. As long as you have goals, there will be plenty of opportunities to close your eyes and envision yourself achieving them mentally. Visualize each precise part of your plan, repeating this process several times to become as familiar as possible with the ongoing progress. Feel the excitement in your mind, fostering a sense of worthiness and readiness to accept both the challenge and the reward. This mental state is often referred to as getting into the zone. Place your mind in a state where you can remain focused, productive, and highly efficient to proceed. Committing yourself to your goal. Now that your goals are ready to go, and you're filled with excitement and knowledge, it's time to move from wishful thinking to concrete action. Go out and put your plans into practice, even if you feel like a beginner. Especially, if you're a beginner. Remember, even a fool can learn from their mistakes, so treat each experience as a valuable lesson. Quote. Suck until you get good at it. Unquote. Chad Dornsife. As you engage in the practical application of your goals, be prepared for discrepancies between your mental anticipations and the actual results. It's normal for there to be variations between what you imagined and what transpires in reality. Take the time to analyze these differences and understand where your interpretations may have gone astray. It's crucial to recognize that encountering obstacles is an integral part of progress. Obstacles don't seek you out, you encounter them as you move forward with ambition. Understand that slowdowns and challenges are inherent in the process of working towards your goals. Expect these moments and know that they do not signify failure but rather additional opportunities for learning and growing as a character. While you may face unanticipated challenges and frustrations, remember that they are essential for genuine education and skill development. Accept the fact that obstacles will arise, and view them as opportunities to refine your approach and discover solutions. Don't actively seek out obstacles, but embrace them as inherent aspects of the learning journey. Dissatisfaction can be a powerful motivator in adhering to the goal process. Use it as a driving force to change habits and adopt more effective strategies. Emotions that challenge your existing paradigms ultimately hold the potential to reshape your mindset and propel you towards a more rewarding result. Killing your complacency. The essence of setting a goal is to instigate changes in your life, to enhance what you have or aspire to become. Essentially, you have acknowledged the potential for substantial self-improvement. However, complacency poses a significant threat to self-esteem. Merely acknowledging the need for change falls short of what your goal requires for meaningful progress. When you become content with your current state and actions, the energy to pursue your goals diminishes. Consequently, neglecting to strive for improvement will hinder the enhancement of your self-esteem, as self-esteem is inherently dynamic. If it's not climbing an upward trajectory, it inevitably will decline. Never get caught doing nothing. The only exception to this rule is intentional waiting, which might appear as inactivity, but is strategic to your next step. When adhering to the goal process, you'll discern when to pivot to another goal or when exercising patience is the swifter path to your destination. Urgency. One tool universally available to everyone is time. Time extends no partiality or bias, providing each person equally with the same 24 hours, 1,440 minutes, or 86,400 seconds each day. No exceptions, no preferential treatment, our lives unfold within this pure egalitarian framework of time. The finite nature of days, weeks, and years in our lifetime imposes a sense of urgency, urging us to apply ourselves with greater purpose and zeal. The choices we make with our time profoundly influence whether we enhance or diminish our self-esteem. Why is it that some individuals seem to effortlessly propel toward their goals while others stagnate, making no progress even after considerable time has elapsed, perhaps a year or even a decade? The key lies in the perception of urgency and the assigned value to time. Are you sufficiently motivated to better yourself, boost your self-esteem, and amass achievements? If so, adhere to a few fundamental rules. 1. Do it. If you set a goal, allocate the time to actually pursue it. 2. Do it right. Once committed, strive to execute it correctly to the best of your current ability. Embrace the goal process faithfully. Understand that perfection is not the goal, you will make mistakes, and the key is learning from them and rectifying as needed. 3. Do it right now. If you've resolved to undertake the task and dedicate the time to do it properly, seize the moment. Swiftly fill your schedule with the necessary tasks. Delay only squanders your most valuable resource, time, which can never be recouped if lost. Instead, use it to build your character and enhance your self-esteem. Engage with the goal process, formulate your strategic plan, and take immediate action. Procrastination has no place in the arsenal needed for self-esteem cultivation. It merely ensures that you carry incomplete tasks into another day. You deserve to forge a path of self-improvement, so act now. Act diligently. P.S. Keep the momentum going, and I look forward to your completion of this book. Busy is not always productive. I'm busy. This common phrase often indicates that one's time is occupied. However, the essence of work lies in the difference from start to finish, not merely the time invested. It's crucial to place greater emphasis on the quality of the work accomplished rather than the mere passage of time. While everyone may claim to be busy, not everyone derives satisfaction from their busyness, especially if they remain in the same place despite the considerable time invested. True work involves understanding your starting point, tracking your progress, and identifying the remaining tasks to accomplish. The real focus should be on discerning and developing new methods to enhance productivity, transcending mere time consumption. This approach not only propels your work forward but also elevates your self-esteem. Quote, "I would rather fail and fall flat on my face, doing all I can to get there, than to quit and outright choose to become a failure. At least the dust thrown in the air from my face shows I did something to change the landscape of this planet." Unquote. Morris Anderson. Commitment is pivotal for success. Even the most optimistic individuals face challenges, uncertainties, and setbacks. The key is not to be disheartened by mistakes. Instead, view them as opportunities to learn and grow. Try again, applying the lessons from your errors. Evaluate whether the outcome improves, worsens, or maintains the status quo. Making 1,000 different mistakes and learning 1,000 new lessons is just as valuable, if not more so, than achieving perfection on the first attempt and learning only one thing. Moreover, this iterative process is a potent builder of strength and resilience, the true essence of meaningful work. Embrace the journey of continuous improvement and discovery. Quote, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Unquote. Thomas Edison. The naturally talented. Consider the scenario of a beginner, no prior experience but possessing a natural talent for a particular skill. They navigate through the basics effortlessly, quickly acquiring proficiency with minimal effort. The process seems inherently easy for them as they effortlessly inherit the competency and they excel rapidly. Progression comes all too naturally without a significant struggle. Eventually this easy street will lead them to the peak of their abilities predicated on this natural talent. However, a turning point emerges when the demands of further progress surpass their innate capabilities. The skills required for continued advancement become more challenging, exceeding the ease of their initial experiences. The past, smooth achievements condition their minds to expect quick and easy progress, always and from here forward. When it happens, and they are faced with the difficulty of the new skill level, these naturally talented individuals often encounter significant challenges, and some may even give up to the dismay of everyone else as they had always done so well. Rather than applying the goal process, they may express boredom, quit, or claim that they never really liked it in the first place, ultimately squandering their natural talent to a dormant dark corner of their life. The implementation of the early steps of the goal process would have prepared their minds for the inevitable difficulties that come with higher skill levels down the road. If activities come easily to you initially, it's essential to intentionally reach the first point of struggle promptly. This is where genuine work and progress commence. Avoid investing too much time in activities that are too easy, as this can hinder your improvement and foster complacency in your mindset. Embrace challenges to continually enhance yourself and avoid falling into the trap of stagnation. The struggling untalented. Contrast this scenario with the highly motivated but sadly untalented individual who can barely walk a straight line even on a lucky day. Despite appearing to be on a path of perpetual struggle, these individuals often acquire one of life's most valuable assets: goal endurance and an understanding of the goal process. From the very first day, they acknowledge their lack of proficiency. In fact, they may start their basics in a state of apparent incompetence, engaging in some of the most challenging, demanding, and fear-inducing activities. They become the subject of jokes in the room, enduring repeated failures and constant rejection in their pursuit. Despite the tears, frustration, and heart-sinking moments of every miserable attempt, they persist relentlessly. Improvement is imperceptible, and it seems there are no signs of progress. This person becomes intimately familiar with consistent goal rejection. Then, in a breakthrough moment, an immovable barrier budges slightly in their favor. They have made a sliver of improvement. Months of hard work for what seemed like the most primitive of skills finally pay off. This individual has just cultivated a life skill, not the skill in particular, but the strong lesson of persistence. Now armed with the ability to commit themselves until they achieve their goals, they experience a surge in confidence and progress more rapidly than their counterparts. They understand the crucial aspects of the goal process, witnessing its power as they transform from something deemed horrible to fairly formidable. These individuals ultimately outshine the rest. They never learn to fear failure, no matter how many times they didn't succeed. Instead, they learned the values of persistence, dedication, self-worth, trial and error, and the resilience to face displeasure and disappointment. Their greatest lesson is the achievement of ultimate success and happiness, driven by their urgency and dedication to setting and pursuing their goals for themselves. Fear. It is okay to be afraid. In fact, it is highly recommended. Quote, "Just as courage imperils life, fear protects it." Unquote. Leonardo da Vinci. If fear doesn't intimidate you, it has likely weakened you. Fear is not only acceptable but should be greatly respected instead of shunned. Those who acknowledge and understand fear are less likely to get hurt. They can learn to heighten their sensitivities to meet challenges. Being afraid is beneficial to an extent, within the bounds of the golden means. Recognizing fear demonstrates an understanding of the potential risks, signifying intelligence and forethought. The dangers become apparent in the minds of those who hesitate, offering an opportunity to begin or restart the goal process by defining obstacles. Many people discourage fear, deeming it a negative emotion, a stumbling block, or a precursor to panic and failure. By bypassing the identify your obstacles and proceeding directly to work, they neglect the crucial steps of studying and preparing for those dangers. During moments of anxiety or fear, the goal should not be abandoned. Instead, slow down or pause, study it out, but don't lose focus. Identify the hazards and return to research, following the goal process more precisely in the next go-around. Allow every sensory system to absorb the environment, building self-awareness. Rehearse the studied information in your mind until you create familiarity with what may not yet be fully understood. Overcoming fear provides a significant boost to self-esteem, regardless of success or failure. The key is to remain calm and find solace within your mind. Facing fears repeatedly reduces their scariness and transforms them into familiar experiences, fostering further growth. Fear is an essential aspect of making informed choices and understanding potential outcomes. Its benefit lies in providing a starting point for preparation and serving as the first step to avoiding visible challenges. Use fear wisely by asking yourself why you're afraid, what you're unfamiliar with, and how others have overcome similar challenges. Embrace fear as a part of your experiences and a reason for eventual success. Risk. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, as the traditional idiom says. This concept is emphasized after the section on fear for a reason. Scientifically, mathematics states that where there is no input, there will be no output. 0 will equal 0. Many great goals and dreams are thwarted before they begin because this equation holds true. This is why the goal process is crucial for evaluating the risk and reward of multiple goals simultaneously. Every person is given the same amount of time every day, a blessing and a curse for the human race. Daily necessities such as eating, sleeping, social interactions, and personal development require time and effort. Work is necessary to provide shelter and food, narrowing down the necessities of life. The rule of scarcity comes into play, requiring individuals to consider what they can live without and how much of a particular resource they need compared to what is available. While it offers opportunities for choices and self-improvement, it also poses challenges due to the constraints of time, energy, and the exchange of one resource for another. Even seemingly simple actions, such as going to the store and exchanging money for products, involve risk. This risk prompts individuals to assess whether a product's monetary expense is a fair exchange for their time. Life is full of choices, and avoiding decision-making is not an option. Neglecting to make choices relinquishes control to external influences, diminishing self-esteem and your best interests being misplaced. Due to the rule of scarcity, the goal process prioritizes goals early on in step 3. By applying a predetermined list of priorities, opportunities are limited, and risks are minimized. Bouncing from one agenda to another becomes possible at a moment's notice, avoiding potential losses of time or resources. Risk is not inherently negative. Society has painted it as dangerous and accompanied by underlying derogatory emotions designed to instill fear. In your role of researching, studying, learning, and preparing, the goal is to reduce the risk of potential losses while maximizing returns. Use a ratio of input versus potential outputs to determine if the risk is within an acceptable range under given circumstances. It's crucial to distinguish risk from the concept of gamble. Risk, when calculated based on probabilities within your control, is not akin to gambling, which relies more on chance and guesses. Pursuing an agenda outside of the goal process may lead to a gamble, relying more on luck than calculated effort. How Step 8 improves your self-esteem. Following the goal process in the correct order up to this point, work is the phase where you witness your goal taking tangible shape. Something you've personally conceived is now manifesting into reality, and you begin to shape the world around you. This transformative process generates a profound sense of excitement, significantly boosting your self-esteem.